Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a new episode of the program To The Point. I'm Karim Gamaluddin and I'm going to be your host for today. And thank you so much for watching To The Point, our program where we bring you the latest and the most important topics to be discussed. And for today's episode of To The Point, so we're going to be talking about a very important topic, which is the status quo of scientific research in Egypt. It's a very special file, and Egypt has a huge balance of cherished scientists, experts, and researchers. And we're going to be talking about the resources and capabilities of the scientific research centers in Egypt, of course, and how we can also benefit from the Egyptian workers who are working abroad in the field of research and technological studies that contribute to the development of modern inventions, and of course the progress of our country, and working towards achieving Egypt's 2030 vision under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also has paid special attention to scientific research and the progress of scientists in Egypt. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the ways of enabling the Egyptian product coming out of scientific research in global markets, and the reality of scientific research in Egypt will be the focus of our dialogue with our guests here in the studio, who we're most delighted to be joined by Dr. Walid Faisal Khatib, Professor of Microbiology and Immunology, and also Vice Dean of the College of Pharmacy at El Galala University. A very good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us on our program To The Point.
Good evening, Mr. Karim.
Thank you so much. And also, dear viewers, we're going to be having we're going to be adding also other valuable voices and input to our discussion today. But first, allow us to go to this, take a closer look at this report, shedding the light on the solar power plant project in Burj Al Arab in Alexandria. Let's take a look, and we'll be back to continue our discussion with the guests in the studio live on To The Point.
Egypt's Solar Atlas affirms that it is considered a sunbelt country with an abundance of direct solar radiation. The sun shines 9 to 11 hours a day in Egypt, with few cloudy days. This makes it a prime location for solar energy. Consequently, Egypt intends to supply 20% of its generated power from renewable sources by the year 2022.
Egypt, represented by the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, has a plan for sustainability of maths. This plan depends mainly on four main pillars. Number one is to transform maths into regional research, development and innovation center for renewable energy in North Africa. Number two is to use the technology and innovation used in the construction of maths for deepening of local manufacturing of renewable energy in Egypt, and to encourage feeding industry in the field of renewable energy, including mirror tracking system, tanks, generators and others. Number three is to use maths facility as international training center for capacity building in the field of renewable energy. Number four, a group of young engineers and technicians has been trained in similar facilities in Italy.
Maths Consortium was formed to present a true industry-academia collaboration with the use of technological advancements to build a large research facility and unique multi-purpose solar plant with a total budget of 22 million euros. The project received 12.5 million euros from the European Union under the 7th Framework Programme and 2.4 million euros from the Egyptian Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. It was built inside the City of Science and Technology in Burj Al Arab in Alexandria.
Solar energy is concentrated and stored at a very high temperature heat. It can be also combined with traditional fuels like natural gas here in order to guarantee stable heat and power supply to different kind of end users. Here we can produce 5 megawatt thermal power to generate electrical power up to 1 megawatt and 250 cubic meters per day of desalinated water. That is roughly the water and energy consumption of about 1,000 people community. In MAT's plant, for the first time, we are demonstrating an innovative CSP, concentrating solar power technology, that is based on the use of linear parabolic concentrators and molten salts to transfer the solar heat to the end users.
MATS is not only a plant for renewable energy and desalination, but also a large research facility and a regional technological hub.
This thermal storage is used to store the heat energy, so I can produce electricity at night. Or if we have a foggy day, we still can provide the electric utility with electricity.
The plant is strategically located in the industrial city, providing a large local community with power and water supplies. MATS also supports social and economic growth in Burj Al Arab by creating job opportunities and prospects for possible investments and further technology development.
MATS is the perfect opportunity for me to learn and work in this kind of technology. I have been in Italy for training in the similar planet, in the similar technology. Now I can operate this kind of technology.
Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching our program To The Point live on Nile TV International, and that was a report taking a closer look into the solar power plant located in Burj Al Arab, Alexandria. We're very also delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Walid Al Khatib, Professor of Microbiology and Immunology, to talk about scientific research and the progress of scientific research in Egypt. Dr. Walid, I'd like to thank you again for joining us on the program. If you can first of all walk us through the progress of, or the status of the scientific research in Egypt, and how can it be applied in a large way in the country?
Great. First of all, we have to emphasize on scientific research can be utilized and implemented in all aspects of our life. Mm-hmm. Starting from the finest needle to the biggest spaceship, mm-hmm. and from single-cell microbial protein to the large and farm animals. Mm-hmm. So we can utilize such scientific research in different fields, mm-hmm. including agriculture and food, health promotion, prevention and treatment of disease, in mining and economy, even in electronic, space sciences and military sciences. So we simply, every aspect, even this is what, here we are in science, the product of scientific research. Mm-hmm. Cameras and the stages and all high state of the art techniques in this studio, mm-hmm. represent a product of scientific research. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also, Dr. Walid, we'd like to know from you, what are the current challenges facing scientific research in Egypt, and how can we overcome such challenges to have progress to be made?
Actually, for several decades, the researchers suffer from limited resources, mm-hmm. and financial crunch, mm-hmm. and also they need more state-of-the-art laboratories, mm-hmm. and as well as R&D personnel and scientists. Mm-hmm. Brain drain, so we lose for several decades, our scientists and researchers through traveling abroad. But the situation during the last few years, has changed. So we are working on returning and getting back our scientists and researchers and to establish a state-of-the-art laboratory and to fund such research. Also, the mindset of learning process, which is the basis for scientific research. So the situation currently is tremendously changing. So we are changing from passive learning and the conventional lack of critical thinking, the lack of critical thinking to different aspects of learning and new e-learning and hybrid system of learning. So I think the future is crafted right now.
Yes. You've also raised very important points in light of also the challenge that the whole world is facing nowadays of the COVID-19, and of course we have to shed the light on the digital transformation that Egypt has witnessed, and the e-learning, as you have kindly mentioned, and also the new learning methods. How does these new learning methods and the hybrid learning can affect the scientific research, in your opinion, Doctor?
Currently, in national university, newly developed and established national universities such as Galal University, Mansoura University, Al Alamein University, and King Sulaiman University. These are called smart fourth generation cyber university. So the learning system is different from the conventional learning system because it is based on interactive learning and problem-based learning, team-based learning, case-based learning. So this represent inflection point in the history of education in Egypt, and higher education in Egypt.
Yes. Dr. Walid, in Egypt also there is a wide gap, I believe, between scientific research as a finished or a final product concerned with knowledge and converting that product into value. How can we bridge this gap?
First, we have to focus on the critical needs of the community and the society, and to build a bridge between research institution and academia, universities, as well as the industry. So we have to focus on project-funded research from governmental as well as private sector, financial and business sectors. I think if we started with applicable scientific research, we will fill such a gap as soon as possible.
Yes, Dr. Walid, also you have mentioned in your introduction that some Egyptian scholars might be digging for other opportunities abroad and looking for other opportunities. So how do you think there can be an institution or something that brings together those Egyptians who have went abroad and made progress or achieved something in the field of scientific research?
The good news is the National University, again, the National University is currently recruiting scientists and researchers, Egyptian researchers from international university, working with international university. So we are getting back our scientific assets to our home. So this is, I think this is very good news, and this is a good start point for innovative research and for inflection in the economy and in scientific research and innovation.
Yes. Dr. Walid, allow me to introduce a new voice to our introduction. We're most delighted to be joined via Skype by Dr. Hela Odi, and she's the Vice President of the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. A very good evening, Dr. Hela, and thank you so much for joining us on To The Point.
You're more than welcome. Hello, Dr. Walid.
Yes, Dr. Hella, first of all, if you can tell us about if we can know more stats or numbers from you about the numbers of researchers, the total number of researchers in Egypt as of 2020.
Let me first add some update to my title. I was the former vice for the Academy of Scientific Research till a few months ago, 2 months ago. And now I'm leading the water desalination technology incubator in the National Research Center. And the former dean of the engineering research division in the National Research Center. Actually, we have a huge number of scientists. Maybe we are one of the top-ranking countries around the world. I believe our scientists exceed 100,000 plus Egyptian scientists. And we have them spread all over the world. We have, of course, a lot of experts, not only scientists, not only with scientific titles, PhDs, and so on. So we have a huge immune system with our scientists, which is ready to be launched.
Yes, Dr. Hela, also, if you can tell us more about, or walk us through the programs that the Academy of Scientific Research offer to innovative youth, and also, as you may know, of course, that the Egyptian leadership and President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is paying close attention to empowering our youth, and also meeting and listening to young Egyptian youth and organizing several series of the World Youth Forum, which has gathered youth from all over Egypt, Africa, and even from all over the world.
Yes, actually we have a considerable percentage of our scientists in youth age, around from the 30s to the 50s. The National Research Center, which is one of the biggest firms in the Middle East, maybe, we have about 4,500 PhD holders. Almost half of them are from the youth. Actually, we got a lot of benefits from allying with the Academy of Scientific Research, and the Academy has sponsored many programs. The most successful ones actually were the alliances between the different universities and research institutes in which youth contributed together. One of the most successful alliances, actually, I had the honor to work closely with, is the Renewable Energy Alliance. It was formed of about 12 research institutes, universities, consulting firms, even private sectors. We ended up with excellent results. Maybe we have one of the most successful on-ground the horizontal axis wind turbine installed as one of the results of this alliance on ground in part of Sinai. It's called Abswera. And most of the scientists contributed in that alliance, in that project, were actually middle-aged researchers. The senior ones were basically following up the development of the research, but it was basically conducted by the youth, even from private universities and foreign universities. And I believe this is a unique experience, that we broke the ice between the different institutes, each one holding back his own IP and expertise, and doesn't or lingering in sharing the expertise with other institutes. So it was a leading, actually, it was a leading experiment, and it was a very fruitful one.
Yes. Dr. Hela Al-Odi, thank you so much for your valuable input, and we really appreciate your contribution to to our program, To The Point. And back to our discussion with our guest joining us here in the studio, Dr. Walid. If you'd like to comment on what Dr. Hela has mentioned about the progress and the programs offered by the Academy of Scientific Research.
This is a very interesting initiative, and the government and the higher administration of the country and the president are paying close attention and empower such scientific research. I think this is a cornerstone and the inflection point in the future of this country. So we are so happy. All the Egyptian citizens have to be proud of what's going on on our land in these last few years through our administration and scientific research, Ministry of Scientific Research.
Also, Dr. Walid, do you think that there can be revenue from supporting university students' graduation projects and just taking maybe an innovative or a brilliant idea to reality and making it big?
Yeah, actually, Silicon Valley have started. It's called Silicon Valley in California. Have started after the graduation of their students from Stanford University. So we have to establish what's called OTC, or Office for Technology Commercialization, in all universities, in all national and private universities, to enrich and support and encourage the scientific research that lead to products, lead to innovation. Also, researchers and scientists have to pay attention and make the commercial product or innovation as one of the top priority in their research.
Dr. Walid, what are your ambitions for Egypt at this time when it comes to scientific research?
I think now is the time to invest in education and scientific research to set the stage for the true prosperity and better future for the next generation. My vision and my dream is to see the national and the community problems are solved by national scientists and researchers, either from inside and outside this country.
Yes. Also, Dr. Walid, how do you see the state or the political leadership's interest in scientific research in light of the current stability and the progress Egypt is making and achieving the goals of Egypt's Vision 2030?
Yeah. Political stability represents the rich land for the scientific research and innovation. Without political stability and without economic development, the research will be in critical situation. So that is essential point for encouraging and consolidating the research and innovation in our country.
Yes, and to know more, so also Dr. Walid, about the challenges facing scientific research, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Hussein Darwish, the Deputy Head of the National Research Institute for Research Studies, to tell us more about the challenges facing scientific research in Egypt. A very good evening, Dr. Hussein, and thank you so much for joining us on To The Point.
Thank you very much for you and for our project. Actually, in Egypt now, 6 years ago, we moved toward real support for scientific research. The governmental support to scientific research is going through the establishment of a number of national projects, such as Egyptian Knowledge Bank, the Wales Scientific City, in addition to the Egyptian Japanese University. Also, President Fattah al-Sisi explained that Egypt is currently in dire need of scientific research for the sake of improving in the health, medical, and agriculture sectors in Egypt. Also, President Fattah al-Sisi has been attached special significance to scientists and researchers since assuming post in June 2014, believing that the biggest challenge facing the country is building knowledge economy based on education and scientific research. Also, support to science and scientists has started 6 years ago when he adopted a number of initiatives to encourage them, with the state placing the science today high on its agenda. Actually, over the past 6 years, Egypt has witnessed several achievements in research field thanks to cooperation and coordination among the state's bodies concerned a matter which has helped to address social and industrial challenges, improve manufacturing competitiveness, and maximizing natural and economic resources.
Yes, Dr. Hussein, if you can tell us about Egypt's appetite for boosting scientific research as an expert, and of course through your connections with international universities and scientific centers worldwide. If you can tell us about Egypt's appetite in this regard.
With the aim of supporting innovation and linking scientific research with the industry, for example, the first governmental Egyptian incubator specialized in the electronic field was launched to contribute to the development of an innovation culture for the benefit of the Egyptian electronic industry, for example, with a focus on the research area of strategic goals and objectives of the 2030 strategic plan, such as renewable energy, smart sensors, and environmental challenges. Also, a number of initiatives also have been introduced to back researchers within the framework of the National Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy 2030, including the Cairo International Innovation Exhibition and the Cairo Innovative Program to sponsor scientific talent. Yes, as well as the Egyptian Science Month that comprised about 250 technological events in various domains.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Hussein, for your valuable input and adding a voice to our discussion on To The Point. Dr. Hussein Darwish, Deputy Head of the National Research Institute for Research Studies. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. Back to you, Dr. Walid. I would also like to hear your comment on what Dr. Hussein Darwish has said about the challenges and what he has said about the progress of scientific research.
Yeah, as we mentioned previously, for several decades, the Egyptian researchers have faced a lot of challenges, including shortage of resources and limited financial crunch and lack of efficient and appropriate laboratories for their researches. But currently, the situation has completely changed through the encouragement of the country and the President, Minister of Higher Education for scientific research. I think we integrate the potential, and we are getting the momentum to fly and to make the skies our limit.
Yes, that's a very interesting thing to believe in, that the sky is the limit, and this would also make us think positively and about the future of this country, which is very important, of course. Also, Dr. Walid, I'd like to know about your opinion about the new education system that the Egyptian government is adopting, not only, of course, because of the COVID-19, but also there was a direction towards transforming the education system in Egypt and taking other developed countries as a model and applying some of the plans or the strategic plans that were implemented in other successful countries.
Yeah. Currently, there are major changes in the directions of education and learning process, including the interactive teaching and flipped classrooms and the hybrid educational system between the online and on-campus classes, and even using virtual laboratories in case of episodes of second wave of COVID-19 pandemics. I think that will be a new strategy to establish such kind of hybrid learning and interactive learning, and I think it's the time to get rid of the classical passive lecturing way and delivering the information, ready-made information to the students, and let them to regurgitate the information back on the paper. I think this would be a history in the next few years.
Yes, indeed. And also speaking or shedding the light on some successful Egyptian models that are present abroad. We have a profile we have prepared here, and the team of To The Point has prepared a profile about engineer Victor Rizallah, the head of the German Engineers Syndicate in Hanover in Germany, and a success story that is worth shedding the light on. Let's take a closer look, and we'll be back to resume To The Point live on Nile TV International.
Victor Rizkallah is an Egyptian scientist and a member of the Presidential Consultative Council of Egypt, leading scholars and experts, and one of the brilliant Egyptian minds, the maker of a major projects in Germany, hence he was called the Egyptian Pharaoh. He was born in 1933 in Cairo and holds a bachelor's degree in engineering, where Dr. Victor Rizkallah supervised 40 doctoral dissertations and about 300 master's and bachelor's theses. Rizkallah participated in the membership of many German engineering institutions and bodies. He also received many honors and awards in appreciation of his role in the field of engineering in Germany. He is also fluent in languages: German, French, English, Italian, and Spanish. Rizkallah designed the Hanover Underground, the largest container port in the world, and held the position of Dean of the Faculty of Civil Engineering at the University of Hanover, and was chosen as Captain of Engineers in Germany for 2 consecutive sessions, and won the highest honors in Germany as the most accomplished in half a century. The Egyptian scientist Dr. Victor Rizkallah, nicknamed the Egyptian Pharaoh, is the first foreigner to obtain the position of Dean of the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Hanover, Germany.
Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching To The Point live on Nile TV International, and that was a profile about engineer Victor Rizallah, success story, and head of the German Engineers Syndicate in Hanover. And continuing our discussion with our guest here in the studio, Dr. Walid. Also, when we talk about scientific research and the current status or the current challenge of COVID-19, how do you see the progress that has been made towards providing vaccines? And we're seeing that some companies are very close to producing a vaccine, and the impact of scientific research on rescuing or saving the lives of millions of people.
Yeah, actually, development of COVID-19 vaccine is considered one of these products of scientific research. So the COVID-19 pandemics that terrified the whole world during the last few months can be solved through scientific research. So there are there is a lot of challenges between the countries all over the globe to find and develop vaccine as soon as possible. Regarding the vaccine, currently the American company, the Pfizer is the American company, and the BioNTech is the German company, made such collaboration for production of this vaccine, and they will apply for registration and approval to the FDA, Food and Drug Administration in the United States of America, for approval, for final approval after the third stage of clinical trials on more than 40,000 people. And the vaccine had no serious adverse events, as they mentioned, and the proposed protective efficacy will be for at least 1 year, as based on the studies, on the clinical studies and the researches on such vaccine. On the other hand, there are other vaccines like Sputnik vaccine, Russian vaccine, and as well as the Chinese vaccine from China also. So in Egypt there is some sort of scientific collaboration and plans for the production of...
And Egypt, I believe, also is leading its own experience in the clinical trials. And we hope that Egypt will be one of the leading countries in approving or having a vaccine ready for the people.
Exactly. So in Egypt, Egypt is working currently on different lines for production of the most promising vaccines. So different options are available right now for this, but we have to focus on the safety and the protective efficacy of the vaccine. So the third stage of clinical trials will give a lot of answers regarding these points.
Yes. Also, Dr. Walid, how do you think the government can collaborate, or the Ministry of Higher Education can collaborate with the private sector? What is the role of the private sector in supporting and encouraging scientific research?
Scientific research in Egypt will need the support and encouragement from governmental sector as well as private sector. So they are together represent the pillars for funding the scientific research, because there is no scientific research without enough good fund for this. And whatever you spend on such kind of research, applicable research, and especially health related research and pharmaceutical research, you will get much more, hundreds of folds as revenue and profits from such research. So I think both of them are essential for funding research. We still waiting for more support from private sector as a national mission towards this country that served all of us as Egyptian citizens.
Yes, and what about awareness, raising awareness among the Egyptian citizens? Do you think that more work needs to be done, or what about the role of the media in raising the public awareness among Egyptians about the importance of scientific research?
Media should play a very important role in such kind of awareness. And also the second part is the education system. So, and when I say education system, I mean starting from the preschool to focus on the importance and to create the passion and the interest to the scientific research from preschool till graduation of the student from the university. So we have to focus on team-based learning and problem-based learning to create such kind of critical and analytical thinking. So this is very essential in scientific research. So the educational system will play a very essential and fundamental role in this kind of awareness.
Also, Dr. Walid, I would like to know about your vision for the future of scientific research in Egypt.
I think we are on the right track through establishment of new learning and educational system in Egypt, either in the university or what's before university to create such kind of thinking and to establish such way of learning process. So we have to get rid of the classical passive learning or educational system, and the country spend a lot of money and focused extensively on such kind of mind change and create new mindset of education, learning, and scientific research.
Yes, Dr. Walid Faisal Khatib, Professor of Microbiology and Immunology and the Vice Dean of the College of Pharmacy, Galileo University. We really appreciate your insight, and we're very delighted to be having you on our program, To The Point, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And dear viewers, by this we come to the end of today's episode of To The Point. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and of course a very special file that we have shedded the light on, which is scientific research in Egypt. And dear viewers, you're in the company of myself, Karim Gamaluddin, and till we meet again, this is goodbye.